Today's episode is my buddy Brandon. Brandon's an amazing person, one of my favorite people. He's a family man, an explorer, an entrepreneur, but most importantly, he's just a stand-up guy and a great human being, and I hope you like the conversation. Is your thing on? I don't think it is.
Well, here we are.
Here we are.
Life has brought us together once again.
Well, and this is, we're gonna see how it goes, man. We're just fucking around here.
Right.
No pressure, no nothing.
Yeah. Never any pressure, man. Let it flow.
Yeah. So I was looking up the Glass Mountain.
Yeah.
Found nothing. But I did find, it's all gypsum.
Right.
And it was diluted with water and fell into a bowl. So now we think about the gypsum sinkhole.
Okay.
Diluted down.
Right.
Went into a bowl underground.
Mm-hmm.
Glass Mountain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember I said that joking around?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how it seems like it works.
Yeah, that was an amazing experience, man. I'm going to have to share it with some people. I'm surprised they haven't done like a scientific study on it.
Well, the other stuff I was looking up, it said that it was like in like that geology and science that's like clueless or whatever. It's like they think
right.
this is how it happened or whatever.
Yeah. But
still how they were all formed and like mixed up and everything doesn't add up to the explanation.
Right.
Still.
It would have all crystallized in the same direction.
one solid thing. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know.
I'm excited to go back there and have a little camp out spot, you know.
Summer solstice.
I could spend days right there just staring at that thing.
Yeah,
it's totally amazing.
It's cool. I can't believe because it's right in the backyard.
Right.
I've never seen. I mean, that's just how it is out here. You don't see. There could be a million things. Because, like, apparently there's a dam around the corner on the river.
Okay.
I've never seen that. The pictographs up top over there.
Yeah, we'll have to find those.
Yeah.
I plan on spending some more time exploring your backyard here in the summer.
Dude, there's so much, man. You know, over where you are, too. There's so much shit all over the place.
Yeah.
And, like, you got the ruins and all that. Whereas, out here, there's not as many ruins, but the geology is fucking wild.
It's desolate. I was thinking of that yesterday. Like, I couldn't imagine being a native out in that kind of landscape. I mean, you've got the seep, you know, you've got some water present, but when there's a rich area of life, it's populated. The canyon by us is like every hill, a pile of rocks, and then you end up looking and it's not a pile of rocks, it's an old pueblo or something.
Well, I wonder, so like the stuff by you is more civilized because there's more water, you know, naturally, and more easier climate to deal with a little bit. Yeah. But like out here, it's not like that. So I wonder if before the humans, the Americans, the modern Americans came out and civilized it, created these different drainages and these different wells and whatnot.
Yeah.
I wonder if these natural seeps were in fact a big oasis back then.
Right.
You know, because the animals didn't have somewhere else to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we noticed out in the desert where we were at, was we looked for where the antelope footprints were, you know. We saw where they congregated, and sure enough, when it would rain, that was the area that held the water the most and provided some sort of life out there.
Yeah. Well, and like, I don't know. It doesn't have to do with that, but you said the antelope room and whatnot, and it's like thinking back to the Purple Mountain's majesty.
Right.
And it's like, oh, bring me a home where the buffalo roam.
Right.
And the deer and the antelope play. Buffalo roam up there. Deer and antelope down here. Purple Mountain's majesty.
Right.
What song is that?
One of those classics.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like it's like the Star Spangled Banner.
Right, it's in there somewhere.
Yeah. But that's just like the glory of it, because like, you know, I don't know. I heard that stuff growing up in New Jersey, and it's just a song. It's no different than Looney Tunes or any show on TV. It's just a an act, a song, something made up. And then like out here, it's like, holy shit, like
it's real.
It's real. Yeah.
Coated with some real information and knowledge, man.
And then you get into like, you know, you got the Purple Mountains Majesty, and then you get into all the other stuff, all inspiring, or, you know, I think I told you this before, the whole being in a state of awe.
Right.
No idea what that meant until the day I just sat there and I'm like in awe, and then I can't breathe, and I'm like, oh my God, this is awe-inspiring and breathtaking. Like, I just got goosebumps saying
well,
that.
That's
right
how
there.
I felt with the Glass Mountain yesterday. It's something so perplexing. You're in this wasteland, and then there's just this pile of glass.
Like, and it's so contradictory, because we saw the sinkhole.
Yeah.
We thought it was going to be something else.
Right.
Something completely different. Still cool as shit. And then we get to the Glass Mountain, and you're like, that can't be the mountain. It's so
just
small.
A little hill, but it's significant once you walk up to it.
You go up on it.
It is a mountain of glass.
Yeah. I mean, it's the biggest mountain of glass I've ever seen.
I can sit there. That's why I'm excited to camp for a few days and just ponder it and stare at it and see.
Yeah. I think it's going to be cool. Summer solstice 2020.
Yeah.
6?
Yeah, we're there.
I forgot what year we're in right now.
I know. I always have to calculate my age, and I'm like, really?
Well, I say the same age for years, so I don't forget. And I've been 38 for 2 years now.
Right.
And I was like, all right, you know, I'm coming up on the next birthday. I guess I'm going to be 39. And then I was like, no.
You were just getting ready for 38?
Yeah. But it's a great system. It works, you know?
Yeah. Nice.
Nah, it's cool, man. Life's a fun adventure.
Right?
Yeah.
I like the summer solstice idea. Is kind of interesting, because you know the natives were all about that stuff, and that was their calendar, right? So
yeah,
you got to look at those petroglyphs and things that line up at that certain time. Yeah, man. It takes a little exploration and being out here. People definitely don't have the time to do it. They take a vacation to come do this, you know?
Yeah. And like that, where we were, it's like, without saying exactly where it is, you know, most people, I actually read the statistics, which it's Park Service statistics.
Okay.
And since I worked with them, I kind of know how that goes. Sometimes they have counters, sometimes they just make it up. And even with the counters, you know, like when you drive by, it clicks or whatever. You know, those are inaccurate too, because most of the time they don't even work right.
Yeah.
So they're kind of guessing in the dark, but the park said 10%, less than 10% of visitors see that.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
It was way out there, man.
Because like the rest of the park, you drive down the highway, you don't have to pay to go in, no entrance booth. So people are like, oh, that's the park.
Yeah.
But like, that's like, the park's a big, long, skinny thing, and like, the highway cuts through the middle, and 90% of people are there.
Yeah.
The southern end is amazing. The northern end is amazing.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's cool.
Well, you got to know those little secrets. Like, I know Arches, there's a way from like Yellow Cat or something. Like, you can go.
Well, back there's an arch that approaches the greatness of Delicate Arch back there. Yeah.
Nice.
No one knows about it. I found it once just stumbling around, but I would never share where it is, even if I remembered. Yeah. Because people don't realize there's so much, like, especially with national parks, like, you go for the site, and like Arches, you know, Arches, we got to go see the arch. That's what the tourists say.
Right.
There's 2,000 of them.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. You know, and they're like, oh, we went to the arches and saw the arch. And it's like, you know, cool, good for you.
Yeah.
You know, but they don't realize, you know, what they advertise about 6 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I call those are the sacrificial spots. Same
exactly.
With like, you know, people ask like, oh, I want a rock hounding spot or this and that. I'm like, okay, which one, you know? They'll probably find it anyways, you know. So,
well, that's what I do when I'm talking to tourists or whatever. I give them the highlights, the big things, and it's like, because they don't know any better, you know. They're going to be happy regardless of what they see.
And most people don't have that in them to do a trip like yesterday. That's a long drive, man. You got to be prepared for
50 miles on dirt roads total.
Right.
Yeah. That just brought me back because, like I said, the ride to where I lived out there at the remote place, you know, that was one way, 50 miles.
Yeah.
And it's you know, we were going back to come back here, but like when you're like, you drove 3 hours coming back from the doctor's on the highway,
right?
And now you're like, oh, I'm at my exit, and you turn off the highway, and it's like, all right, only 46 miles on a dirt road to go before we're home.
That's how it was, like where we lived, man. We would drive like, you know, way out from the city, and then it was like, all right, now we're getting on the dirt, and it's like a huge trek just to get back to our spot. But once we were there, it was like our home base, so we could go even further to like the canyon and stuff. So it's
a
like
hop off point,
right? So most people, they're already tired by the time they got to our place, but we were, you know, rested up so we could venture out. There was this spot called God's Pocket, and it's just like, it's like these crazy like rolling hills of rock, and all the sand just kind of deposited. Like the kids would go and splash around, and it was like they were at the beach or something. I'm thinking to myself, how many people actually see that spot? And it's got to be like maybe not even a handful a year, because it's in such a remote spot. It's just this little spot on the map, you know. We were lucky enough to be out there and find it.
Well, that's the cool shit about stuff out here, because, you know, like right in the front yard here when we climbed up there,
right?
How many of those rocks has someone looked at?
Yeah.
Chances are more than not that no one.
Right.
You know, and it's like, yeah, they're right there, but we know the traffic around here.
Yeah.
And us going up there is about the biggest traffic it's ever seen.
Right. Well,
you know,
and like I was saying, think about someone has to have it in their mind to come all the way out here and go up that specific hill. Like you're just blessed to be right here, so it's just a little side adventure in your backyard.
And that's the thing, because people are touristing, so they got here to go, there to go, you know, and to pull over and look at something like that, they'll be like, oh, it'd be cool to go up there,
right?
But we got to get here by this time, and blah blah blah.
Yeah, I was doing that on the way out here to see you. There's a lot of just interesting rock formations and things, and they got it right on the side of the highway, so you're zipping past. And it would just be nice to park, like examine something up close.
Well, that's the glory of it, because anywhere you park, there's gonna be something.
Right.
Yeah, and as you know, there could be like crazy canyons or glass mountains, sinkholes.
Yeah.
But then, what are you doing? What are you looking for?
Right.
Tell me, what are you looking for when you're out there?
Oh, I'm looking for treasure, man. I like artifacts, uranium out here, rocks. You know, there's all kinds of cool stuff to stumble upon. Something like Glass Mountain, I can't believe that's not advertised. I've never heard of it. It's not talked about. That's one of those little secret treasures, you know.
And when I looked it up, it was just copy and paste. It was like 5 different websites.
Yeah, just the same sentence.
Same exact thing.
Oh man.
Which that's how you know no one
knows about it. Yeah, it's not even studied. I like finding like a scientific study on something, someone who actually delved into it a little bit, you know. But.
Well, that's the type of thing we got to go talk to someone at the park.
Yeah.
You know, like I met this woman when I was registering my vehicle recently. She works at the DMV, but she was born in the park, raised in the park.
Okay.
Because that park has a really cool community where they raise their kids there, and the kids end up working there and everything.
Pass down some stories and some knowledge, you know.
So like that's the woman to talk to.
Yeah.
You know, if she doesn't really know, she definitely knows something more than what we know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're out there, you're crawling in holes looking for.
Oh yeah.
What are you looking for?
I like the mines, man. Out here we're in uranium country, so it's just it's special to find a rock that's shooting out energy. The history behind it, knowing it's most of the stuff's from the 50s, you know. So any kind of artifact or anything like that, even an old oil can or something is like. It's awesome
to
see.
55-gallon drum.
Yeah. I mean, it's treasure. You know, they say anything 50 years or older, you're not supposed to touch it. It's technically an artifact on BLM land, so you know they tend to keep that stuff.
That's what killed me with the Park Service, because you know, at one point we were out there at the remote park. We were going around looking for everything we could find that was under 50 years old and destroying it all.
Yeah. Don't let it get past that 50-year mark. And
my boss was like, "Oh, we can't have their shit. That's just a bean can. That's not an artifact."
Right.
You know, and I see, you know, I found the can of beans that most likely Butch Cassidy had in his hand.
Right.
You know, in a place called Cowboy Cave, you know, and it was his place.
Yeah.
And I went in there, and under the dirt, there was a full can of beans. And I don't eat beans, but I really debated it. I was like, these might be the beans I should eat.
Yeah. Man. Yeah.
But yeah, what do we call that? Historic graffiti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which that stuff's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it in the canyon the other day, the petroglyphs, but then you see the modern, like the Spanish, guys came through, the cowboy graffiti and stuff like that, and it's like, all right, at one point it was just graffiti, but now it's historic, so,
yeah.
What are people going to find of our era? We're not allowed to leave marks like that, really,
It's like, when I first moved out here, I did.
Nice,
I wrote my initials with my girlfriend at the time. Yeah. Even wrote NJ, New Jersey.
Nice.
In it, and I mean, I don't care. It's that Colorado National Monument.
Right.
It's the first real sandstone I ever saw, and of course,
Yeah.
that's the first thing you think. You're like, ooh, you can rub your name into the rocks here.
Have you seen those Spanish trees, like the white bark, right? Like the Spanish would mark some of their mines and stuff. They would inscribe in the tree bark, and they were like marker trees.
Huh.
So yeah.
You talking about aspens
out
or
here?
What?
Yeah, or whatever those birch trees, whatever the white bark.
The white ones with the eyeballs.
Yeah. So people carve in their
aspens.
names, but the Spanish would put some intricate symbol to show where their gold mines were or something. It's part of the lore out here of the Aztec gold, Spanish gold. And so there's still some of these trees, and the ones that I've seen are like amazing. Like they'll have like a full guy on a horse or something carved into this, and trees don't last forever like rock, but definitely something interesting that I never knew about until I started looking up things out here. There's a company that does petroglyphs though, like Alaska or something. You can order a petroglyph, and they'll go to some place and blast your petroglyph in some rock, which is kind of neat. It's like, all right, you left some legacy somewhere. Yeah. It's hard to scratch and rock, man. I admire those petroglyphs that are well done.
It takes time.
Yeah, you see the modern stuff is scratched in there, and it doesn't look
When
good.
I did. I went in.
Wow.
Yeah, I was sitting there for a hot minute, and I remember it was pouring rain, and it was actually really cool because I was in the desert. Yeah, it's all my honeymoon stage out here.
That's cute.
Yeah, it was cute.
Man.
Yeah,
a little mark, Nice.
So you go down in the mines, you look for radioactive rocks and such.
Yeah.
You're the radioactive man.
Yeah, definitely. That's the specialty. I mean, you got a little device. I always got it in my pocket. I feel naked without it. But I mean, our technology back in the day, you used to have a big, a shoebox you'd have to carry around.
Or like an ammo can kind of thing.
Yeah. So you got to carry that thing around out in the field, your battery life, all that. I mean.
Well, what do we got right now? So that's a Geiger counter.
Yeah.
Right?
So this thing, it's a scintillator. So it's like a Geiger counter. It's got a little crystal in here.
What kind of crystal?
Some kind of cesium doped, they coat some kind of crystal with something that's it picks up each little gamma reaction. So every time it clicks right now, it's a little speck. It makes a little light on there. So there's a photo sensor in here that is translating that into a click. So each one of these little particles flying through the air right now, blasting through us, is hitting right here. So you've got 1,000 counts per minute right now, just background.
Let me see it real quick.
So whatever you've got petrified wood and things around here.
So 1,000.
Yeah, that's 1,000 counts a minute. So it's got 1,000 little particles right now. It's just what that thing's registering. So. So yeah, you take this around in our part of the country right now, and there's a lot of historic mining and things, and
see if anything beeps behind you. There's a whole bunch of rocks there.
Right, it's awesome to just take this to rocks and see it go off. You'll find petrified wood and stuff a lot. I know you've got one out on the porch that gets maybe 10,000 or something. But
what's the highest you ever seen?
Oh, this thing will get up to a million, 1.2 million or so.
And what's that mean?
It's just screaming. This thing's and so it's just. Imagine all that energy just pouring out of this rock, and it's the half-life of uranium is millions of years. So this thing's just sitting there, consistently shooting out that much energy for that long,
just oozing out. Energy,
man.
So 1 million units. What's the dangerous level?
So,
according to the books,
microsieverts is how it's measured, right? And that's there's a city in Iran that gives you about 50 microsieverts per hour, which is you're literally getting a dental x-ray,
every hour.
Yeah.
So what's 50 microsieverts compared to 1 million on there?
So that's where it gets confusing, is because microsieverts is like the dose rate on the human body, and counts. I measure it like this because it's like I'm not measuring the dose rate on a human body. I'm measuring how strong this rock is, because it varies for each device, But yeah, if you held that rock to your head with 1 million CPM, like you're getting a chest X-ray worth or whatever.
So CAT 1 million scans, on there is kind of in the ballpark
high,
of what you're talking about is the X-ray in Iran.
Right. No, the X-ray in Iran is pretty it's strong, man. People are like they would see a reading like that and they'd be like, "Oh, I don't want to hang out there." But people are living in this city, where it's like consistent. Mm-hmm. So it's like, all right. That's what made me not so scared about it, was to know that like these guys mining, like say Mi Vida or something over by Moab, right? Like that mine, the radon, the levels are insane. Like you got a really high reading, like 100,000 counts a minute or something in there, just from the air, from the radon being in there. But you got to picture, these guys were mining back then in their overalls. They were not.
They weren't showering every day.
No, I talked to the mine's owner, and
what's that guy's name?
Mark Steen. So okay. Sunset Grill, yeah. Like if you ever go through Moab, that was the Steen house, and they pretty much made Moab. They were the first to discover the good uranium, like that dense, like million count a minute kind of like.
Okay.
So before that, they didn't think the pitch blend existed out here. But
does that have a name, the good stuff?
It's just uraninite. Uraninite's the primary ore, and so like what they mined a lot before then was like the secondaries. Like you'd find some sandstone with some yellow on it,
okay.
And so that was like, okay, it's got uranium on it, but it's not the actual like powerful.
Yeah.
So I mean, this dude's got a picture of him when he was like 3 years old, standing on a mountain of this ore. His dad had him there, and they took like a photo op, and I'm like, I asked him, I was like, so these workers, did any of them, were they getting sick? Like what radiation sickness? I always wanted to know, because you hear about stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's like, if they were ever sick, it was because they were smoking or drinking too much. Like no one ever had a problem. And these guys were like, think about consistently working in this mine, like, 5-6 days a week, you're camped out there, you're covered in it, you're eating your lunch in it. I
was going to say, you're eating it.
Yeah, before they had all the strict regulations. So it's like, all right, man, that kind of made me feel less scared, and just I dove into it. And I mean,
because you take your kids playing in the
I mean, they hunt in the tailings pile, it's like finding treasure. Like there's a pile of rocks out in the desert, and you wave this little thing around and it lights up. It's like, oh cool, this rock's like special, yeah, because I mean, it's hard to find that just laying out in the desert, but once they've removed it from the earth, and it's still goodies out there, so yeah, people are interested in it, man. I think they're coming around a little bit. As far as like not being so scared,
mm-hmm. Well, I can only speak for me, but nowadays, because like I burn coal in here, which is not radioactive, but it's got a lot of bad stuff going on. And it's like, I really think about it, because like, I got stuff like this, and I'm like, what's worse, this can or the coal dust I breathed in last night?
Yeah.
And I'm not a scientist. I bet this is worse than the coal dust I breathed in the last hour or 24 hours.
A natural mineral, it's coming from the
natural,
earth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess ultimately this is natural too, right?
Yeah.
Because it was derived from the earth.
Yeah, well, I tell people that all the time when they get on me like, oh, you're not wearing gloves, you got your kids around this stuff, and I'm like, well, are you stopping people from going through the drive-thru at McDonald's? Mm-hmm. Like, are you concerned, are you ripping cigarettes out of people's hands? Like, telling them not to do this? Like, it's a rock,
Yeah.
Ultimately, I mean, sure, you've got asbestos and arsenic and lead and things like that, but...
Yeah, but I mean, like, what, you got... They do the testing on the wastewater and everything,
right?
And it's like, what's in there? Like, if it wasn't going to make you sick, biologically or whatever, to drink the wastewater.
Yeah.
If that wasn't the case, you drink some wastewater in a city, you're going to get high on heroin, cocaine.
Oh, yeah. All the pharmaceuticals
Xanax,
that don't. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like a free, like, check that out.
That tap water is
thing.
Insane.
You open up a wastewater management plant, dilute all that, or refine all that stuff out.
Yeah, I know, right? Like you can
start selling it.
Yeah. There's a lot of
recycled heroin.
Yeah. The water. So, I mean, and I think about that too. They say like, most of the world's uranium is dissolved in like the ocean type stuff, and it's like I know the Chinese and stuff. They're imagine just pulling the gold and stuff. They say there's gold like suspended in there. So like,
well, you got those little globs at the bottom. You know what I'm talking about? Those little rare earth globs that they have at the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
And it's like, we don't know really how they were formed, but maybe it was, just a coagulation,
the solution,
deep sea levels, dense, formed it into a bowl or whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, you dry out the ocean, you get salt. It's like the same kind of thing. If you can figure out a way to separate these salts or whatever's dissolved in there, that's the way to go. Like, who needs to mine anymore if it's all just floating around in there? Yeah, man.
Well, and then you get into like all the stuff they're trying to work on to inhabit outer space or the moon or whatever. And they have these systems in place to just like, what do they need? They need like water, I think. And if they have water, they can make just about anything out of that water. You need water and a little bit of silica or something, I think. Yeah.
Imagine being able to print your element that you want, you know?
Right?
Like, that's awesome.
Well, I mean, we're in that. We've been in that age. It's just a matter of it becoming, because like now, like I feel like we've had so much technology since the nuclear age.
Yeah.
Things that we've learned about and everything, but we haven't had the modern technology to be able to do this stuff in an ergonomical way.
So that's the thing. They can make gold and stuff like that, and it is all nuclear. You know, like they bombard things with neutrons or whatever, so like that, you know, they can make, you know, a few little nanograms of gold or something, some particles, but because it's not economic, they're not doing it. But they have done it. They can convert.
But
one
everything
element
is
to
becoming
another.
more economic nowadays. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, look at this. You know, like we can do all this stuff. You got a freaking Geiger meter in your pocket, high quality cameras all around.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're in the age. Like as much as there's negativity or whatever to talk about the world, we are in the age of abundance, and we just don't realize
miraculous to have what we've got, man, for sure. Like we've got, you know, you've got some people that don't drive or something, but like just being able to jump in your chariot nowadays, you know, it's like you don't
you want.
There's a lot of benefits that we have as far as having just food stops all along the way. You know, imagine having to carry all your water with you just to go explore, like back in the day. Even the old school miners and stuff. It's like
I don't have running water. I carry all my water everywhere I go. Yeah, minus I have my chariot, but
our world's definitely become it's nice for us adventurers, you know. We've got gadgets and things like that. You don't have to have your mule with you and, you know, do all the hard stuff. But, I think our world's really, it's based a lot off mining. I was going to say that real quick because think about everything we have comes from, like, I mean, whether it's mining, you know, wood even.
That was my first thought right there.
Yeah, lumber, like you're mining wood, you're mining rocks, you're mining the
What are our bodies doing? Mining air?
Yeah, minerals. Like we run off minerals. So if we could get to the point,
and we have tailing piles too.
Right, I know. Yeah, human tailing.
Yup.
Yeah, man.
Tailing.
And speaking of that, like a lot of these animals, like elephants and stuff, they recirculate their poop, you know. So there's still a lot of.
I guess the cow and those kinds are more efficient because they don't gotta spit it out. They can just regurgitate it and
this
continue.
Gets me on a crazy topic where it's like, aren't we advanced enough now to where, like, I thought of this as a child where, you know, where's that guy in the lab? Like we get a certain whatever out of food, minerals, right? So why don't we have a pill yet? We're eating all this rotting junk, killing us. Like, what if we could have every mineral, you know, like, our body needs this much sodium, copper, whatever.
Yeah.
Has no one calculated this out, what we need each day yet? Just here you go. Here's your electrolyte mix or something.
Well, I think, so what I think about that, because we have the powders and all that stuff, but from my understanding, everything with that is, so like you take vitamin C. This is a big reason why I'm against all the supplements.
Right.
Because you take vitamin C, and I'm pretty certain, say you have 100% vitamin C pill that you take, your body's only able to absorb like 10% of that because it's in the wrong format.
Right. Well, and that's where I'm thinking.
And that's like, where the issue lies.
Has anyone made the correct formats and measurements? You know, like, because we do have all that excess, like taking magnesium or something, you're peeing most of it out and stuff like that.
Well, it's like, the vessel.
Right.
You know, like, you know, vitamin D. What's vitamin D in? Is that the sun, or what's the one in milk?
Right.
What's the one in milk?
Oh, man. Vitamin D, probably.
Okay, we'll call it vitamin D.
All right.
You know, you just take a vitamin D pill versus drinking a glass of milk, there's something in that milk,
that's
whether
true.
it's the lactose or this or that, that's making that vitamin D accessible. So when they're making these pills, you know, you have a vitamin D pill or C pill or whatever, you got to put some lactose in there or whatever the heck it is. So and that's what they got to do.
Whereas the scientists say, yeah, like, okay, we've got the vitamin C with the right carrier and precursors.
Yeah.
Getting into milk, man. Like, who looked at a cow and thought that's the one? Like, you know, that's the animal that we're humans are gonna, you know.
Well, and that's my thing, because I grew up drinking a lot of milk. Like, I would have a gallon with me and just drink it. But I've become an older person and I'm more sensitive and lactose intolerant and all that. So because of that, I can't drink straight milk. I haven't in years.
Right.
And I have ice cream, of course, because you know, it's like bacon.
Right.
But yeah, it's like now I look at it and I get kind of grossed out when I see people drink milk. I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah, it's a strange
and that's
thing
kind of the vegan
about.
mentality, right?
Yeah, like
But I see it. It's like, why? You know, I'm not gonna go up to your wife or your mom and like milk her and drink her milk.
That's what
that's less weird, than drinking milk from a cow.
Straight up, and that's what I was gonna get into. Like, why don't we keep our humans providing milk, because it's made for us, you know?
Exactly.
Like there's stem cells, there's all kinds of great stuff in there, you know, where they've actually shown that the baby's saliva on the nipple will,
I think I know.
like, so it'll program the mom of like the baby needs more vitamin D or whatever, and it'll produce like, so there's like this symbiotic, like, it's just amazing the technology that's built into humans. But
so do you think we should be drinking milk?
I would drink breast milk. Well, hey, you know, like, it's made for humans versus.
But you know, I think about it, like, we don't drink milk.
Are we ever supposed to be weaned off of it? You know, like, why are we drinking it as
There's
adults?
Nothing out. Is there? I've never thought of anything out there that drinks milk past childhood.
Right. So here's the thing too. I was going to touch on was the milk. Once it's pasteurized, it becomes cancer causing. Like, it's carcinogens. Like, so the Rockefellers invented pasteurization. Like, I think it was one of the only actual patents that this one Rockefeller came up with, which is weird. Like, pasteurization, man. It's so much more beneficial to drink raw milk, because once you heat that stuff, it's like, you know, you're creating,
getting rid of a lot of stuff.
You're changing all the enzymes, everything's breaking down.
Well, the same goes with Baby Girl, my cat. I used to feed her chicken. And, you know, it was before I learned about the raw stuff and that it's not as gross as it might seem.
Right.
But, like, the biggest thing with the chicken is when you cook it, you lose taurine or something. One of those. And it's like, I remember when I was doing that, I was like, because I would boil it in a pan or a pot. And it's like, well, that you're losing the majority of what the cat's looking for.
Oh, yeah. And microwaves are the worst, because that literally breaks everything down and tears apart the structure, you know? But
well, and I guess it comes down to the whole thing. Like, it makes me think of humans trying to control nature and the environment.
Right.
You know, like, we try to do all these things, and it's like we're always working towards a specific goal.
More economic or
and we're kind of missing
on the shelf type stuff.
And we're missing the big picture, you know? Like, you can't, like, okay, it's like, here's a good example. Someone's nowadays, they're lonely or they're unhappy or depressed.
Right.
And it's like, okay, you know, I'm one of those people, hypothetically. I'm lonely and depressed. I want to be happy. Okay, what makes me happy? Whatever that might be, you know, let's say, a beach makes me happy.
Right.
You know? So I go and look at the beach and then go home. Am I happy?
Yeah.
You know, maybe.
Right.
But there's a lot more to it than just going to the beach and looking at it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just target one thing.
Right.
There's a whole ecosystem around it, whether it's milk, whether it's for the cat, or whether it's happiness.
I think our main thing is what we put into this is the temple, right? Like, all this ancient teachings and everything, like, your body is the temple, and what you're putting in there is so important. And that's where I feel like we're really blinded with that. We used to eat in season, right? Like, you only got fruit a certain time of year, like, these things appear, you know, like, you would have to hunt an animal down, so you're exerting yourself, you know, and you're in this fasting state. Fasting is when your body's, you know, healing yourself a lot of times. So, like, that's why when you sleep and when you're sick, you know, you're kind of like, you're not eating, you know, so you have time to heal and things like that. So all these ancient kind of techniques have just been squandered in this generation.
Yeah. Well, and then I wonder if there's something with the hunt, even for the people in the village with the hunt, you know, there's the hunters definitely have some adrenaline going.
Ooh, I've got a good fact for that.
Okay.
So, well, let's say it. So something where you exert yourself similar. So they've shown that something like chopping wood versus playing soccer, the same kind of exertion they measured, the chopping wood produces 47% more testosterone than the same exertion of playing soccer, because soccer's for recreation, and something primal in your body knows, like, you're providing for your family, like you're chopping this wood that you need.
Okay.
So there's something to that, you know, like we have this with this program in our body where it knows what kind of hormones.
Well, I guess that kind of comes down to a sense of purpose in a sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because like
the reward system.
Yeah.
You know?
Because, I mean, this is different, but, like, when I do work for people doing carpentry or whatever I do, if the people don't appreciate it, I'm out.
Right.
I'm out. The second they just don't care, I quit. I'm done. You know, and it's very, very different, but kind of the same thing, you know? Like, I have no drive. I have no passion if the person I'm doing the work for doesn't have that.
Right.
And then I have my back problems, so this kind of ties in. If the person I'm working for loves what I'm doing,
oh man,
my back don't hurt that bad.
Right.
But if they're kind of nonchalant about it, my back starts hurting. Your body's
natural painkillers and all that, man. I'm telling you, I was staying in that dome and I was admiring it. I know what it takes, man. I was like, this is no small feat. That deck and everything is beautiful.
Well, it's fun though. You know what it's like when you accomplish something. You know, it's not anything impossible, but when you accomplish something that's a lot for you and only you to have done. Push the
limit, man. Yeah, it's rewarding when you accomplish something like that. Feels good to see, like, wow, you know,
I did this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, whether it's a piece of art or a building or just, you know, anything like that.
Or like
digging a hole, man. Set a goal, and once you accomplish it, it's like, wow.
Well, I was gonna say, like, with your uranium stuff and everything, like, you've told me about it, you know, like, you went from a hobby, a pure little genuine interest,
right,
and now you've turned it into something. Like, you told me you got 40 something orders in the last 2 days.
Holidays, man. People want uranium this year, apparently.
But that's crazy, you know? Like, you know, like, was that your plan? No.
Right. And
know?
I strive. Like, I feel I thrive in that overwhelming kind of like, wow, like, we have to get home and like we have all this work, but it feels good. It's like, all right, I'm working for myself. Like, a lot of this stuff I've either sourced from other rock hounds who found it, or, you know, I found it myself, which is just amazing to be able to convert that. I've spent time with my family, you know.
Well, that's like one of the coolest things about it.
Right.
What, 99.9% of the time, the whole family's out there with you?
Yeah. I bring them everywhere with me. She homeschools, and so it's just like, we go out and people are like, they look at us weird, and I had to kind of learn this, you know. We'd go to drop packages off, and they're like, is it a holiday? I'm like, oh, it's Wednesday. No one ever sees a husband and a wife and the kids together during the week, like when it's like not, you know, it's school hours or work hours. I realized real quick that was like a special thing that people they're not used to seeing that. So,
well, and you're getting to build the bond with the kids. Whether or not they do this stuff in their future doesn't matter, because you're showing them, you know, especially your oldest, she's seen you make this happen. She's going to remember that.
They learn, they pick up little things where, you know,
she's going to know, like, say when she's 17, 18, you know, and she's already not going to have the mentality of, I should go work at McDonald's. Yeah, but she's going to, like, she has an idea by the time she's at working age, and I bet it's earlier.
Right.
She's going to be hustling.
Yeah.
She's going to be doing something. She's going to be like, oh, my dad sells rocks.
Right.
You know, maybe I can sell dirt, because he's always talking about selling dirt.
Yep.
You know, and it's like, that's the beauty.
It's like the mossy stick thing, man. We sold, you know, I cut down a tree and it had beautiful moss on it. I'm like, I don't want to throw this away. You know, someone has a use. So you put it on Etsy, and people are like, you know, I've got snails, or I'm a florist, or whatever. So it's like, there's needs for things out there, and people will pay you for it.
Well, and it's wherever you are. Like the rocks to us that are just normal, like
Right.
the shirts and everything.
Yeah.
Like we see those all the time. But if I was New Jersey, Will, over a decade ago, you give me the ugliest piece of,
all this petrified wood, like no one
any
has
of that. I'll be
yeah.
like, oh my God, like $100 for that? Yeah, totally.
Yeah. It's a piece of something unique that they don't have access to.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, it's perspective.
Seashells too. We did that. It's like we're from the desert. We went out to Seattle and we're like, oh, it's seashells. I had the kids painting them and stuff like that. And it's like it was just neat to have a new resource.
Yeah.
That you can put to use, man.
So you go into the mines. You explore the mines and look for different specimens and different glowy radioactive stuff, and then you find a way to make a living off of it. How much of a living are you making off of it?
Well, we live real minimalist, man. So like that was the thing that the 3 years in the desert taught us, where we lived 3 years literally no money. Like the only money we got was that Trump money, COVID times, like borrow $20
Trump money.
Trump money. Yeah, remember that? Like that was like we got that, and that was like one of those like we could use some help, and it just happened. Like it was like, all right, man, that was like beautiful. We were able to get a vehicle after ours broke, and we literally lived without a vehicle in the middle of nowhere for months. Like we had a friend come out and got us water from the well when we were down to our last bottle, and things like that, where it was like you jump and the universe catches you. Not a lot of people have faith to do that, but I know you get what you need, as long as you're receptive to it. So we learned to be real humble. Like we lived in poverty, so
poverty ain't bad.
You're rich in poverty.
I was gonna say,
like,
it's
rich. Like we didn't have bills. We didn't, have to do anything. We had no commitment, so we were able just to spend time with the family during our children's most valuable years of life. Where most people are like, yeah, I was working, whatever. My kids grew up, got to see them 30 minutes a day, and so we're able to get by with. We don't have all the techie stuff. We're not keeping up with the Joneses. We've got what we need for what we do, and our cost of living is just, it's low. So I'm doing good. I've reinvested a lot back in the business, like rock cutting machines or something like that, and it's like
lapidary.
Yeah. So I'm like, people are scared of these rocks. Nobody cuts them, but it's like, all right, I know how to handle them and deal with the contamination and stuff like that. So it's definitely been something beautiful to capitalize on, and it pays the bills, which is like amazing. Hopefully I can grow it. I would love to bring friends into it. We finally got help with like the website and things like that, where I can hook people up with some rocks that they...
Did you ever remember the input I gave you on the website? Were you able to?
I passed it along, so I've got my buddy who kind of picked up and made the website a lot more, user friendly.
So it's different from when I looked at
it.
Yeah,
okay. And I haven't checked it out recently, which is beautiful. Like I've got
that's awesome.
I send him some rocks that he would have bought anyways. Give him some deals, and like.
And then you can check that off and not hurt your friggin' head trying to figure all that out.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I don't want to mess with none of that.
Right. Yeah. It's just like filming something. Like you wish, you wish for someone who could come and film everything, edit it, like that would be great, because it's a lot, man. I admire those people that are able to sit and edit and do all that. It takes a lot. So
I've done a little. I made 2 little videos in the past, and they came out friggin'
nice,
pretty damn good,
Right.
Like they're not awkward at least.
Yeah,
they flow. But that's like the type of thing. Yeah, like, do I want to do that?
Right.
If I had absolutely nothing to do, and if I was not here, I would love to do that if I was stuck in a city somewhere.
If that was your main focus. So that's the thing. I have YouTube and stuff, and I'm not fulfilling it because like I'm scattered all over. Like I have my focus all over. So eventually, if someone wants to step in, like with the website, if I get some young content creator who will be like, oh, I can throw them some rocks or, a few bucks to make videos on these things and share the knowledge, that would be great. Use what I've built, this kind of brand name, and make videos like that. But if that was my main focus, I'd be making great videos, but it's like,
well, it makes me think about you know, because I had a landscaping, construction, and cleaning service in New
Mm-hmm.
Jersey. And each one was a year later. You know, I started the landscaping 1 year later, construction 1 year later, cleaning. And I did my own bookkeeping, my own accounting, which, you know, we're talking a lot of stuff every single day, all that. And it's like, yeah, I juggled it all and everything. But yeah, it came to a time, my brother's girlfriend, I was like, hey, here's a shoebox of receipts.
Right.
You know, make it happen. She's like, how much are you paying me? And I'm like, more than you'll get paid for anything else.
Right.
You know, and it's like, it's nice to know how all the stuff is done, get the foundation going.
Right.
But you get to that point where it's like, okay, I have the foundation and I know how this roughly needs to go.
Yeah.
I'm ready to pass the torch on and be like, here's the parameters, here's the basics. Other than that, do whatever you think you need to do.
Yeah, and I think the main thing too, as we get older, is you realize how valuable your time is, man. Like that bookkeeping, like she does it all. She's keeping her journal and just, you know, hand her all the receipts, and I'm blessed, you know, to have a tax lady, secretary, and some help. Like, you know, I'll print out shipping labels, she'll pack stuff, and we're just kind of a little mom and pop operation.
Does she have a little calculator with a printout?
No.
It makes it a lot easier.
Okay.
That's what I did. Everyone, because when I was doing it, the internet was around. It's 2010, 11, something like that.
Right.
But not as easy as it is today.
Yeah.
But people were like, why do you have the old-fashioned calculator with the printout? And I was like, it makes it easier.
Yeah.
You know, because you feel the click, you hear the you know, and it's kind of like, I guess you could equate it to scrolling on your phone.
Right.
You know, every time you click add and it prints out that line, it's a little dopamine hit right there. And it helps, you know, because now it's not as mundane. You're like, ooh, another line done. And then you're done, you rip it off, staple it to all your receipts, put it in a box. Now you have 100 bundles of 100 instead of 10,000.
And now you can just take a picture of that. Like, you have document scanners where you can just take a picture and the numbers go in there.
That's so much harder, though.
Yeah, but you need a hard copy to take a picture. And you know, so
because you get what I'm saying. You know, taking pictures of your phone. That's not as you know. It's not as. It's not going to make you want to do it anymore. Whereas I'm saying with that clicking with the printer, like you want to kind of, you know, at least if you're a certain kind of crazy.
Old school typewriters and stuff like that. Those are those things.
You slide it across and you're like, you feel gangster. You slide that across, you're like sentence down.
Even like, like the old phonograph or something, you know, the needle that's put on there. It's like now it's just everything's so just, electronic, man.
Yep.
Yeah. I like old stuff better than the new stuff. That's why I enjoy like the artifacts and like the lifestyle, like stepping back in time. Like, it's crazy, you know, just thinking about like the 50s, like, you know, back when we were in the 90s, it didn't seem like that long ago. You know, when we were kids, it's like now it's like
50s didn't seem too long ago. From the 90s, you're saying?
And now it's like I think back and like this stuff's like actually like really antiquated.
Well, here's something. You know what? We are closer to now from when we were children, because we're the same age.
Right.
When we were children, the hippie days was ages ago. But we are further from the hippie day, like from the time we were kids to now is further from the hippie days from when we were kids going back to the hippie days. Because that was less than 30 years back then. We might be right in the middle, actually.
They're dying off like World War II veterans or something, you know? It's like they're really we went hiking out in Montezuma Canyon with these old geochemist people, and like, you know, they're like almost 70 and they're still like rock climbing and freaking doing awesome stuff. And you know, she's talking about the hippie days, and I'm like, oh, it's like, it's an era that's dying out, man. Every time we advance, these people are value to us. These elders, like, get their stories while you can, you know, because it's just something you're going to read about in a history book, and it's going to be wrong, you know, or only a few sentences.
Yeah, paraphrased. Like, or whatever. Well, that's like, I got a guy in town, Korean War veteran.
Yeah.
He's part of a family that's very historically well known. There's monuments named after their family out here and stuff. He's not associated with that, but his family is. But yeah, you know, I want to talk to him. I have talked to him, but I'd like to have a conversation like this with him. And he's hard of hearing, you know, all that. And I thought about it. I'm like, would that, like, be the easiest conversation to follow. Maybe not.
Right.
But I'm going to do it.
It's worth it, man.
Because he's a 70-something-year-old Korean War veteran.
Yeah.
Like, that's treasure to us. Like,
right.
We're not going to have that. Your kid's version of that is going to be someone from the 80s.
Yeah.
Which is one tiny notch away from us.
It's crazy. And that's why I say, like, these old stories. My grandpa just passed away, like, at 99. And
keep on talking.
Yeah, his stories were amazing. He would say, like, because it's just such a different lifestyle back then. He was able to lie about his age to get into the Navy, because that's what they wanted to do, was go and support the country and things. So he would always tell us this same story, the holidays come, and he would tell us, yeah, I took Philip D. Augustino was my neighbor's name, and I used that to get in. And I'm glad he told the story so many times, because now it's beaten into my head, and I can share it with my kids, and tell them about their grandpa. And I wish I would have picked his mind more, So anyone who's got an elder like that should definitely take advantage of the story time, man. It might seem mundane and especially when you're a kid and you don't appreciate that stuff. That's why I'm glad we're able to teach our kids, like, the things that I wish I would have known then. And so I tell them, like, hey, respect your elders. And
and that's the thing, like, the elders, anyone older, anyone younger, shit,
right?
Like, kids teach us a lot of things. I can't say
that's true
exactly what or anything, but just watching your kids,
pure and innocent, man. Yeah.
Like last night when we were playing chess, is all of us playing,
right?
And it was like, I don't know, like I said, I can't say what I might have learned or whatever, but seeing Araya, making her moves, figuring it out,
watching her brain click,
and like she doesn't know what she's doing, and I was giving her little hints and whatnot, but when I'd say, do whatever you think is best, the fact that she would just do something,
right?
How many adults can do that?
Yeah.
Your wife.
Right. Oh, yeah.
She couldn't do that.
No.
She couldn't
make a decision.
Yeah. But Araya, every single time, she just did it, and it was like, 60-40 if it was all right, but she would rewind.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's something we can learn. Like, that's one of my phrases. Keep it simple, stupid.
Right.
Stop thinking so much. Just do it. That's another one of my phrases.
Mistakes are the best teachers, honestly. You remember that lesson. You're going to remember that. So sometimes it's good to burn yourself. Okay, it's hot now, something like that. You got your piece, so now you're going to think.
Well, that's I had some kind of cousin of some sort, second cousin, first cousin, I don't know. I still don't understand how that works, but when she was a kid, she kept grabbing at the stove.
Oh, wow.
And her mom kept telling her stop, and she didn't listen, so her mom wasn't counting on this happening.
Right.
But her mom was just like, all right, she's going to have to learn. She's going to grab up there, grab the flame or grab the frying pan and burn herself. Unfortunately, it was a pot of boiling water.
Yeah.
And she was permanently scarred, couldn't grow hair. She's a little kid with no hair. And that sucks. That's a damn shame. But I bet she's never going to do that again.
Told you so. You can only tell so many times.
That's a tough one. And it's like, how did we get here? Like, I got here from everything I was told not to do by doing it.
Right. And I mean, I've tormented myself. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, wow, I rode this avatar hard, man. I beat myself up, and I'm grateful for the lessons, It's like, it's been such a spiritually advancing journey in one lifetime, and I think it's because of so many mistakes.
Yeah.
It really strengthens
So are they mistakes?
No, exactly. And that's where I tell people, like people that are depressed or sad, I'm like, you're just not there yet, like you got to get through all of that. You got to work through it, and then you're grateful. When you get that point where you're grateful for all of the mess ups in life.
Well, and that's something like, a lot of, it's come up a lot, about the topic of loneliness or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know how firm I am on this, but something I've come up with is loneliness is basically another word for boredom.
Right.
Yeah.
A
boredom combined with laziness.
Yeah.
Because if you're too lazy to fix your boredom, what happens? You become lonely.
Right.
you know? So it's like, I don't know. You just gotta, you know, do something, and there's no right or wrong.
Right.
You know? Yeah, there's right or wrong, I guess. You know, you don't want to go stab someone in the neck for no reason. You know, if they stole your Reese's, maybe they deserve it. But, yeah.
Yeah, very subjective, man, you know? No, but
and then when you do that, now you have a sense of pride. Now you have a sense of achievement. I was bored, I was lonely because I'm bored, because I'm lazy. Now I'm going to stop being lazy. I'm going to get off my ass. I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
Now I'm not bored, and here 3 hours went by, and I haven't been lonely.
Right, right.
You know? So yeah,
it's all
gratification.
Your mental power. I try and explain that, and it is the lonely thing a lot, you know? Like, I've had friends who are lonely, and they get depressed, you know? They want to be with someone or whatever it is, you know? And I try and explain to them, like, dude, I've known people who've been locked in a box, you know? Or, like, some people that are never getting out of prison or something like that, and they're able to function, and they're able to thrive and be happy because you deal with what you've got.
You figure it out.
You know, like, what are you going to do, right? You're going to write poetry or work out like crazy or study or do something.
I only did a short time in jail, not prison, but I was going through photos recently for the documentary from Theo.
Yeah.
And I found my envelope. I have one of those cardboard postal envelopes, you know, the big ones.
Yeah.
Just jam-packed with jail letters, you know, and I peeked in them a little bit.
Oh, man.
You know, because my girl I was with at the time, she became homeless, and she's like, these are going to go. Like, I don't want them to go because it's something that happened in our lives.
Yeah.
She's like, do you want them? And I'm like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
You know, so I have the ones that I sent her and the ones she sent me back.
Oh, man.
And it's just, it's just that reading back and, like, seeing, it's like, okay, this is how I entertained myself. I was able to think about
it. Got you
everything.
Through, right? You know, like, I burned everything in the desert. I had a bonfire of, like, I'm like, all these little, like, you know, just everything, man. But
I'm too sentimental. Like, I got my stack of traffic tickets. They're this
That's
big.
what I was thinking.
And I just looked through them, and I'm like, these are trophies, man.
Yeah.
Because I haven't had one in over 10 years.
Right.
So it's like, you know, there's nothing negative attached to them.
Yeah. No, you know, it was part of this thing in the desert. What we did was, like, it was, you kind of went through it. You explained you're, like, repenting of, like, you know, being unfaithful in relationships and things like that. And I kind of did that in the desert with anything. I like replayed my life, and any instance where, like, someone robbed me or something bad happened, you know, some lady pissed me off, just, you know, little things. And I mentally, like, I let it go. I forgave, and I would literally feel this, like, spiritual weight lift and, like, genuine forgiveness, you know, bad relationships, whatever it was. And I went through, like, my whole life, I replayed it, and I was just like, let it go. And it was so freeing, and you could feel like a burden lifted, you know, like stress is the major killer, dude. Stress, that negativity. So I would say that's definitely something people should learn to partake in, man.
Stress is one of the biggest things, and that ties into the boredom and all that too.
Yeah. If you're not happy where you're at right now, like, you've got to do something. You got to.
And that gets to another one of my phrases. You know, one foot in yesterday, the other foot in tomorrow. What are you going to do? Piss all over today.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's true. You know, it's hippy dippy shit, but you got to live in the moment.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, if you're trying to meet someone new,
it's huge, man.
You know, if you're not there right now, you're not there.
Yeah. Bring up your past relationship, or you're going to ruin your current one, and, you know, your chances, all that kind of stuff, man, is all we've got is right now, you know.
And anytime we're thinking about not right now, we're just wasting right now.
Right.
And like you said, like, time is
worrying
valuable.
about tomorrow, and
yeah,
concerned about the past. Yeah, man.
And life's just too short. You know, the way I see it is, I have a lot to do. And there's no way in hell there's enough time.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
So I don't want to waste any time.
Yeah.
I just want to do it.
And that's what I was saying, like, with the bookkeeping and stuff like that. Once, you know, it's cool when you're young, you know, you feel invincible and you got forever, but, man, you start to see, like, every second is so valuable. Do I want to waste my time, like, doing this? And that's where our minimalist lifestyle comes in, where it's like, yeah, I could work more, and we could have a lot of, like, I don't need anything. Like, you know, like, what am I working for? I'd rather just spend time with my family, you know, my friends, dude. I would just rather come out here and adventure and not have to worry about, it's not even paying the bills and stuff like that. It's just, as long as you're comfortable, you've got enough, you're secure, but you can also do it to where you jump and the universe catches you, like when we had nothing for 3 years. So, people don't need to plan for tomorrow too crazy and have a bunch of money and savings and a cushion. It feels comfortable, but people will be all right, man. You got to take some risks, and it ends up working out.
Yeah. Well, and at the end of the day, we've survived as humans for hundreds of thousands of years without all this shit.
Right.
So it doesn't seem like it's really that hard to do.
No, get your stuff in order, like you did. It's all about shelter, transportation. We did it for a while. We did the van life thing, and then we did it in a stable format in the desert. Off the grid.
But as you know, transportation's also really not that important because we got 2 feet.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You just got to adjust. It's like a tuner,
Yeah.
That's what life is. It's like, okay, this song has more bass, so I should drop the bass a little so it's not overwhelming. It's what life is. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. No, it was nice to be able to do it in the desert, and like even, we lost a vehicle or something. It's like, all right, we just made it work, man.
So in the desert, not so much about the specific things with you and your family and everything, but just in general with the desert, what's like one of the biggest things the desert's done for you, like more just the desert than everything else?
It hardened us. It made us very able to survive, just watching my wife break ice, and to wash dishes and things like that, and raise a newborn, just in a little box off the grid. It was very admirable, so it bonded us. I think that's the number one thing it did for us, was it gave us the time to become such an unbreakable unit as a family. Like
that shared trauma you talk about.
Yeah, trauma bonding, kind of wow. Like to where, I was saying we just got stuck the other day and a few weeks ago, and we're like, where she would have been freaking out before, now she's just like, I'm like, you came a long way, like here we are. So we really pushed it through some survival scenarios that would, most people would have died, honestly. People don't
not
survive.
That they needed to have died, but
right.
They would have done something dumb.
City folk aren't prepared, and like we were city folk, I had to find ways to do it, and I felt good about it, accomplishing it. And it was kind of crazy to have a newborn out there and a 3-year-old daughter. And
so the desert kind of put you out there to the point that, I mean, this is the way I see it, but it's sounds like what you're saying, like you realize that it's up to you.
Yeah, that's
up
the thing,
because
no one was there to help. I mean, mom would loan us $20 to get propane if we were freezing or something, and that was it. But a lot of people don't have family support like that, so I mean, you got to be able to come up with what you need, or live without it, honestly. And that was a big lesson, was like, and that's how we're able to live and thrive today, is we realize we don't need all that crap. We don't need a lot of that. We've lost everything multiple times, even just the move that we just made. It's like we just gave it all up. Give it to Goodwill, sell it.
Well, that's how you've gotten where you've gotten, though, because you're ready to turn that page.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's huge. I would say most people are stuck. They're stuck in their possessions.
That's the only
job.
Thing that's hard, because
you need to be fluid, man.
Yeah, because you've seen it just like I have. There's a overwhelming abundance of people that want to change their lives and do something more aligned with something like each of us are doing.
Right.
But the only issue, which we both know, I know very much coming from Jersey.
Yeah.
The only issue is doing it.
Right.
Is making that decision. The decision's the hard part. Everything else is easy.
There's no reason that people should be envious. People that have more than we had in the desert, like, should not be envious and be like, I wish I could do what you're doing. Like, do it.
It's just that scaredness.
Yeah.
It's that worry about, the unknown. It's the scared to turn the page. It's scared to, like, maybe that's something why the desert kind of changes people because you're always wanting to go around the next bend.
Yeah.
You did that yesterday. I've been out here over a decade and I still can't control myself. I said we were going to stop an hour before we stopped.
Yeah, drank my water an hour ago, but I'm still...
you just keep on going and going and going until at some point in time you're like, oh shit, where am I? You know, and then like you're like, well, it's nice here.
Right.
You know, and that's kind of like the spiritual journey people end up going on in the desert. You know, that mentality goes into their lives. And, you know, that's like when I made the choice, you know, is, you know, just real quick, it was on a whim, you know, like I had no real plans of leaving Jersey or selling my businesses or anything.
Right.
Literally made a joke to someone on the phone when I didn't feel like working one day. Told my guys to go out and do shit. Told my buddy on the phone, I'm like, I don't feel like working. I'm probably going to sell everything.
Yeah.
And I was just being New Jersey and just, you know, pessimistic.
Yep.
And he was like, how much? Pulled the number out of my ass, told him the number, got off the phone. Hour later, I'm crawling out of bed finally. I'm like, okay, boss man, like, be a boss, get up. And my buddy calls me up and he says he's got the money. And I was just like, what, goosebumps again. I was just like, well, what the, okay. And he's like, are we going to do this? I was like, yeah. I don't know how.
I love when life does that to you. Yeah.
You know, and then long story short, sold all my everything. And I had a whole house of antiques. I was paying off a 2-family home. I had a lot going on. I had a yard that I had, a whole bunch of equipment and vehicles. Sold it all, came out here, negative money, no plan, no job. Only option was to volunteer. And it succeeded because I wanted to volunteer in the desert and just see what happens. And that's the only reason I succeeded, because I wanted to. Yeah,
that's similar to us, man. We got that land super cheap, man. Some guy just didn't want to pay taxes on it anymore and let us make payments on it. And so, you know, downsized from the big house and got rid of everything and just dragged everything out to the desert. And like, well, we'll see what happens from here. Then COVID happened and all this stuff. So like, it was just kind of like everything went on hold. Like a piece of plywood got super expensive. Couldn't spend money or build anything. So we just hung out and it was meant to be. It was exactly what we needed. So I think a lot of people should really take that initiative. If somebody's able to have a cushion and do it, there's no excuse, man.
Yeah, like especially if you have a cushion, for crying out loud.
That's the thing. Like our wheel rolls off your van, whatever. If you don't have someone you can borrow money from, or you don't have a lot of cash in your pocket, it's a little scary and hard because it's like, all right, how are you getting out of that? But that's why we stayed put in the desert, because we didn't have money. It's like, all right, things can break, but at least we're here.
But like your story of the desert, and you're hinting at my wheel falling off.
Right.
Like what got both of us through that? The people, the bonds that we have.
Yeah.
You had your bonds with your family, and then the ones that showed up.
Right.
I got out my wheel incident from layers. I got a tow from a nice guy that's a friend of a friend.
Right.
Staying at a friend's property where I'm working. Great friends, you guys down the road to come help me out with some errands and stuff. And it's like, like I always get into this thing where I'm like, because for a year I was pretty much out of a vehicle.
Right.
And I felt real needy and everything. And I cycled it. Luckily, I got a lot of people that care about me. So I could cycle it around to dilute the neediness. But, every time I think about that, I'd be like, I have all these people that are willing, like, more or less, whatever I ask. They know I'm asking for a reason.
Right.
I'm being honest about it. If I say I need it, I need it. If I say I'd like it, that means I don't need it. I'd like it, but I don't need it. And I'm being honest. I'm a good person. You're going to hook it up.
Right.
And why? Because damn right, if you're broken down in Mexico, like my ex-girlfriend shipwrecked in Mexico, I was about to drive down there and go rescue her ass.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what we have with people, knowing that if you ever expect someone to kind of have your back, you gotta know, they gotta know that you got their back.
That was our thing, was even in the desert, like we burnt everything. Like we burnt bridges, like we kind of reset and restarted. So we had to build like a friend base from scratch. But like, even you were still good, even if you didn't have those friends, like the guy you ran into at the gas station or whatever, you know, like the universe does provide. It's a little more risky, and it's like, you know, it's nerve-wracking that way, but there's people out there that'll show up at the right time. Like when we broke down in a blizzard, and I duct taped my boot because the bottom was flapping off, and like Tracy's got the newborn, and we're like, all right, we're walking back, and like we were ready to do it, we were committed. But then it's like you hear this engine coming,
the only engine,
and like it, you know, in the most desolate spot where no one ever goes, and this lady's checking fences with some, you know, cowboys and stuff, and so it's like, all right, you know, we were ready to do it, but the universe is like, all right, I was just testing you, you know, got you. And so it's awesome, man, to be able to, you know, to be in a situation where you bring the best out in people to help you is really, it's something. It builds bonds, man. Yeah. You know?
And I think because, you know, I've just like anyone else, I've had a lot of people that have burnt me in certain ways.
Yeah.
But it's the whole thing of like, you know, it's hard sometimes to not be calloused or whatever, but like nothing comes of that.
It's like getting burnt on the stove. You learned, you know? Yeah.
You learn, but are you going to stop cooking?
Right.
You know, you can't stop cooking, and you can't stop, like, you know, like there's certain types of people I can look at them and assume that we might crash or butt heads or whatever. I'm still talking to them.
Yeah.
I still like the people at the library, you know, like they were on a different spectrum than my beliefs. Right. But what did we do? We had a great over-hour conversation.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, don't burn those bridges. Just, you know, like try your hardest to understand that, you know, like, we're all flawed. We all got issues. And sometimes people are just assholes. Other times people don't know they're assholes.
Right.
So you could have that opportunity to show them, like, hey, you're being an asshole.
Yeah.
And now what are they?
Right.
Because I used to be such an asshole.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe I'm a really good person. I do my best to help anyone.
I'm grateful.
But if I wasn't told I was an asshole my whole life.
Yeah.
I'd still be an asshole.
Right. Yeah, no, a wise man, you know, you take criticism and you do something with it. You know, where a fool is like, you know, takes offense to it, tries to battle back. Like, you know, you don't want to be offended. I welcome the criticism, and it's like some stuff's just you, man. Like, I don't know, we were saying the other day, the quickest way to ruin a relationship is move in with someone, right? So like, and that's true of family, of friends, of anyone. We all have these rough edges where, you know, you're going to have a little pet peeve or some kind of something that stands out.
But you move in with them, now you know, okay, I can live with them, or they can live next door.
Right.
They don't have to live over in another town.
Right.
They can live next door. That's fine.
Yeah. I think that's the way to do it. Like I always say, we should have our own little bubbles where we can retreat to. But it's great to have that larger bubble for a community like project.
Imagine I get a bunch more domes here.
That's what I'm
bubbles.
Saying.
I want bubbles.
Right. I would totally take a dome or a houseboat, and it would be so cool because we'd have our space.
Dome in your dome.
Yeah. Oh man. No, it's a neat setup out here. I really like that you've got the dome guys right there, because people that aren't this rugged and like, you know, willing to come out and camp in a tent, or the weather's not right, like those are nice amenities, man, and people can still come out, have a campfire and kick it, and you know.
And I meet so many of the people that are there, you know, because I'm always tinkering, so they're always coming over and talking to me.
That's nice, dude.
And they're like, oh, what's on the other side of the river? And I'm like, oh, that's where I live.
Me.
And they're like, and what? How? And I'm like, oh, you see that old crazy looking boat out there? They're like, oh yeah, we thought that was abandoned. I'm like, yeah, well, that means you didn't drive down the private road, so good job.
Nice.
Yeah, but
we really loved like finding our neighbors in the desert. You know, it'd be a year or two, and then you're that. Okay, I know your spot, and like this spot, I've driven past there, and like they just, you know, pop up on the road eventually, or something happened. But it was like they were all good people, man. They were all like that desert folk of just survivalist type, wanting to be away, and I feel like
it's that shared trauma once again, even though it wasn't directly shared.
They know
but
you need each
shared
other out
the desert's trauma with each other.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten robbed.
like you seen him here, you seen him this. You had a little bit of a biography you were writing about.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you see this guy hypothetically driving past your property for a year, and then all of a sudden, you know, he's not there, but there's a weird vehicle all the time.
Right.
You don't know that guy, but you know, if you know how to contact that guy, you're probably gonna think about it and be like, hey man, like, is this okay? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And that's that community shit right there, and you don't even have to know the person. But in the suburbs, like, you don't even know your neighbor painted their front door.
Right.
Yeah, because you're just tunnel vision.
It's crazy. People just ignore. It's like we're social creatures, man. You know, like there's people are loners and everything, but it's enjoy your friends, make new relationships. You know, have that conversation. And when you do get that opportunity, I see that more and more now too. The older I get, I'm like, I might not talk to this person again ever or for a long time, and like. So now I try and get the most out of it. Like,
well, it's like the thing at the library with those people.
Right.
You know, like I'm not saying nothing, but if it wasn't for me, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't have had that conversation.
Right.
Because I felt you kind of, I had the same vibe about what they were trying to get us to sign. It was kind of like a telemarketer, you know, atmosphere going on.
Yeah.
And then I started talking, and I saw pretty quickly you switched, and you were in for talking. And it's like, that's all it took.
Yep.
That's all it took. And did it hurt anyone?
Yeah. And that's where I feel like the most beneficial things I've had is like campfire talks, man. Like when you can get some people like that, you know, meet them and hey, you know, we've got a spot out here. We're going to be camping this summer, whatever. You know, get people together like that. It's always quality over quantity, and that's one thing we had in the desert was like the quality of people stepped up, you know, through the roof. You know, we might have only had 5 people come out, you know, that year or something, but it was better than the hundreds of people we bumped into in the city, you know? And, some of the best memories ever, man, have just been sitting around campfires, having great talks and sharing our life stories and things like that.
Well, that's one of the cool things, because, like, at one point in time, I knew far less people out here than I did in my previous lives.
Right.
Now, I think it's pretty much on par. But yeah, the quality is there, and it's like, you know, the thing. It's like compared to 99% of people in this country, we're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yet super social, meeting people all the time.
Right.
You know, all this, and it's like, you know, it kind of attests to the fact that it's not a matter of where, it's a matter of, you know, what or something. You know,
it definitely sorts people out. Like the cities are like, you know, stacked up jail cells and like
and I would never judge someone that's stuck in a city.
No,
because
you've been there. You know,
yeah, like even if they're a bad person within reason, you know, they don't know any better. I didn't know any better.
Right.
Like you judged me when I first moved here. Like, yeah, I was a womanizer. I was this. I was that. You know, and it's like, you know, you got to deprogram and you know, kind of get some clarity. And it's like, okay, if someone from a city comes out here, they got a year to get themselves at least in the lane.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But, you know, within that first year, they can swerve.
Right.
You know, but after a year, if they're still swerving out of the lines, you know, they can swerve within the lines.
Right.
But if they're swerving out of the lines after a year, it's like, okay, like you might be one of those that's kind of, you need some more time somewhere else, but not here right now.
Yeah, I really enjoyed like our small little town of 200 people, you know, all the farmers and things like that. It's like these people, they've had their past lives and things like that. Like this pastor used to do meth or something, you know, and like now he's just like, he's our milkman, you know, and it's like, and then we meet the beef people and they're like, oh yeah, he's our pastor and stuff. I'm like, oh, even though they're all far apart, like these people know each other and they're all solid, you know, just.
Well, and that's a small community thing.
Right.
Because even here, like I have the group that I don't like here, but I'm part of their story and they're part of my story.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's the crazy thing. And it's just a matter of how you're going to look at it.
I shared your story with the beef guy. Our neighbor knew you before you knew, you know, it's like all that kind of stuff. It's just nice, man, to just know who's out there, what they're like, and just, maybe we'll all have a campfire together someday.
We will eventually.
Right?
Well, and talking about the priest, like one of my favorite things, not with my business, but with a landscaping company that I worked for, the actual place that really taught me how to work for myself and everything. I was doing landscaping with them since I was like 14 or something. But there's Pastor Fred.
Yeah.
And he lived in the rich town, probably a $500,000 house.
Broke it.
Well, that's okay. That was the only sound, and I was going to end it here.
Right.
But I'll just finish it. He had the little Jesus fish on his car. Or no, he didn't. And I asked him, I was like, why, what is that? Like, what's that stand for? And he was like, oh, it's just, you believe in God and all that.
Right.
And I was like, so how come you don't have one? And he's like, well, when I'm flying down the parkway doing 80 miles an hour and flipping you off, I don't want you to know I'm a priest.
Right.
And I was like, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Live your life, dude.
Man.
Because for him, that's his shit right there. That's where he gets to be a fucking, he gets to do his thing right there.
Man.
And imagine being a priest, cutting someone off and flipping them the bird. Like, that we're all human. That feels
good. Yeah. I love our little talks with our pastor guy, man. He drops us off milk, and I talk to him for 45 minutes outside, and like, yeah, there's some good people out there, man. But you gotta be free enough to not be bound in a box, like,
Well, have a bubble, but bubbles aren't firm.
Right, bubbles exactly. Flexible, yeah.
Sometimes they combine with other bubbles.
Sometimes they pop too.
Yeah. But, all right, well, you want to go check out some mines?
Definitely, man. It's a beautiful day.
All right.
Let's see.
Cool.
All right.
Oh, I'm happy it made a noise.
Ping. That's nice, man.
Okay.
Got the warning symbol. Let's see what's up with my peeps. Peeps! Did they walk somewhere? Did you guys leave me? Woo! Maybe they're by the river. Oh, they're in the car? Woohoo! Woohoo!